Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we are actually having a little bit of coffee, no real rain, but we have all the books do we have all the books we could possibly need? I don't know. Is there ever a point where you can have all the books you could possibly need? I feel like that's one thing that only comes into question when I move, because the usual answer is no. But when I go to move from like apartment to apartment or city to city, and I start having to pack those books up, the answer is, oh my gosh, yes. That is probably when I question, why do I have so many books? But I love books. They are comfort. I cannot sleep on them, they're too hard, but if I could figure out a way to do that. I know I've seen on Pinterest where someone like built a bed that had like bookshelves as the headboard and bookshelves as the footboard. It was so cool. Aesthetically I loved it, but I think I would run into it a lot and I would hurt myself. My headboard and footboard are like plush because I know myself and I would stub my toe constantly and just break a pinky toe just right off. I would injure myself so bad. But let us not talk about my clumsiness. My mother always talks, or she used to say when I was younger, especially because I was not graceful, how she should have named me Grace so I could at least have a little. But I don't know. I was a little bit clumsy, and I still kind of am. We are talking about A Crack in Everything today by Ruth Francis Long. Now, this one I got as an audiobook from NetGalley and wasn't really sure what it was about. It says it was first published September 1st of 2014, and this is Dubh Linn, number one. So but I think the reason that I got this on NetGalley and the reason that it's releasing, at least from NetGalley, says publication date of November 1st, is it's probably the audiobook version that I received is going to be available as of November 1st. Now, I believe I'm going to release this episode November 3rd, so if you're interested in a story like this, then maybe you'll go out and find it. If it sounds like it's up your alley. For me, it was a very interesting read. And I'm moving my phone over because it's on top of my notebook that I have in front of me. But let us dive into A Crack in Everything, which has a lot of, I will say the audio narration was done really well. So the book is set in Dublin, and so the narrator had a really cool Irish accent. I always find accents really fascinating, especially if they are kind of geared towards like the location to which the character is supposed to be from. So this is set in Dublin, and so the narrator, I would assume her accent is real, has an Irish accent. Welcome to the other side. Chasing a thief, Izzy Gregory takes a wrong turn down a Dublin alley and finds ashes of a fallen angel splashed across the dirty bricks like graffiti. She stumbles into Dubh Linn, the shadowy world inhabited by the Cide. I guess it depends on how you pronounce the like the she, like the Fae, where angels and demons watch over the affairs of mortals, and Izzy becomes a pawn in their deadly game. Her only chance of survival lies in the hands of Jinx, a she warrior sent to capture her for his sadistic mistress Holly. Izzy is something altogether new to him, turning his world upside down. A thrilling, thought-provoking journey to the magic that lies just beyond reality. So this book really kind of gave me echoes of Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere, which is kind of like this underground London, or this kind of alternate London. And I kind of like that. And even a book I just recently reviewed where I think it was called The Kensington Chronicles, where we talked about this underground sort of Chicago, like this reverse side of Chicago where like there's the darkness and where kind of like the supernatural things reside. That's kind of what this book gives me those vibes of. Now, it is considered YA, urban fantasy, fae, romance, and there is some Irish literature and fantasy involved as well. I I would probably give this book 4 stars, and I think I haven't reviewed it yet on NetGalley or on Goodreads, but I will be probably tomorrow. And I got, like I said, I got a free copy from NetGalley. It was an audiobook, and this is my honest review. So, Izzy starts off, and I don't think her parents are fairly well to do. In fact, that's kind of how you start off, is she's fairly aware that money's pretty tight in her family. So she tries to be fairly conscientious of that. Um, she usually works a job, and at the time of meeting Izzy, she is going into Dublin in order to go see a band play. And it's a fairly normal day for her, but she she feels like she's being watched, and she realizes there's this guy, and he kind of looks like this homeless guy who's like watching her, and every time she kind of looks a little bit and she kind of like looks around, she sees him. Well, she kind of looks down this alley, and it's a pretty like busy area, and she sees this outline of this angel, and she's almost drawn to it. She's really kind of captured by it. So she goes down that alley, and at that particular moment, that this homeless guy that she feels has been kind of following her or tracking her, um, snatches her phone. Well, again, she's very aware that her parents really can't afford to give her another phone, so she chases after him instead of letting it go. And even though she's kind of got like this little, I think she's got like a barista job or a coffee job, she doesn't have the money to pay for it either, so she chases after him. And when she grabs a hold to him, he vanishes, and kind of they flip over into this other realm, into this other sort of other London. Instead of Dublin, it's Dublin. And that's where the Fae live. And now she's really, really kind of discombobulated. This is where she meets Jinx, and this is where she learns that the Fae and angels are real. And she's just been dropped in like to this battle that's been raging for years. And so that's kind of where the story really picks up. And Jinx seems to be kind of in the middle of it, because he has kind of, he's almost like a whipping boy for one of these Fae females named Holly, who pretty much has a leash on him, and he can turn into like, I don't want to say it's a wolf, but it is kind of a wolf. It's kind of like a big dog. I would say almost like a Grim, and that's just kind of how I picture it. I don't know if that's the same thing in like Irish culture. It's very possibly like an Irish wolfhound sort of shape, but that's like I picture something like a very Harry Potter-esque Irish wolfhound, Sirius Black sort of dog whenever I picture him changing, because it sounds very menacing. I love the all the Irish culture that seems to be embedded into this story as well. I didn't like, I mean, I like how gritty the story is, because it truly is very urban fantasy in a lot of different ways. But there were some tones that felt a little bit, that really, really gave me those kind of YA vibes. And I think it was more of her kind of jonesing after Jinx, or really kind of like, I think just showing her kind of youthful teenage side. And I guess it's because I haven't been a teenager for so long that I was just like, oh, this is so embarrassing, secondhand embarrassment. So I will say that's probably where some of my maybe can't give it more than 4 stars, because I was kind of like, okay, come on, let's move on. We can be a stronger person than this. But of course, at that particular age, when you're like 16, 17 years old, you're still kind of figuring out who you are, still figuring out your friends, like really still kind of figuring out your own personality as well. So I mean, I can't fault her for having like a crush on this Fae guy, especially if he's like dark and brooding. And then there is one point where she just like she kisses him, and then she gets super embarrassed because he really doesn't kiss her back, and she's like, "Oh man, I shouldn't have done that." And I'm like, I don't know why she thought it was like the right thing to do, but girl, just own it. If you did it, you did it. He didn't stop you, but okay. um, I would love personally to go see Ireland. I'd love to see Dublin. I'd just love to visit the country itself. I think it would be phenomenal to just see the beautiful countryside that it has to offer. This book makes it very cool to just hear about. I love the mystery of like the Fae culture that it kind of like that's encompassed in their culture, and I guess the magic and mystery that's all involved in it. The druids and the Celtic sort of vibe. Just all in all, I think that was why I was drawn to this book so thoroughly. Now, one particular reviewer said that Izzy herself was a strong main character. She was strong-ish, but I think she could have been more confident. I think in a lot of different ways, in my personal opinion, there were points where I was just like, girl, like, pull it together, like, you're better than this. Because they would show her being confident, and then she would kind of backtrack a little, and then they would show her being confident, and they would backtrack a little. So I just needed her to be more consistent with that. And the romance with Jinx is actually pretty cute. So I will say, like, that was pretty well done. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. Like I said. Now, someone else, they said this is like the love child of the Mortal Instruments and Cruel Prince. I like Mortal Instruments. I thought Mortal Instruments was fantastic. Didn't read Cruel Prince yet, but now maybe I need to. And then the next review was in German, and sadly I don't read German, but man, it seems like they've got a lot of exclamation points and capital letters in there, so I kind of wonder what they were saying. I hope they liked it. But all of that being said, I definitely, like I said, give this book 4 stars. It seems that this book is book 1 of the Dubh Linn series, and since that's the Fae side, I guess I want to look and see if we've got book 2 out, because I wonder if we're going to get more kind of growth. I wonder if we're going to get more information, because we do learn that Izzy is she's not completely human in all the ways that Izzy thinks she is. And so she's got some ties to some people, some ancestors who are very important, and I think that's going to come into play, especially... Oh, we do. Okay, so book 2 is A Hollow in the Hills, and book 3 is A Darkness at the End. So it does look like we have 3 books in this series. I'm glad I clicked on her name. So Ruth Frances Long. And I might need to go find A Hollow in the Hills and see if I can continue this journey, because sometimes with book 1 it kind of sets that foundation, and with books 2 and 3 we kind of get to know the characters a little bit more, and we kind of get to see them grow, mature, and sometimes their adventures get a little bit better and get to be a little bit more adventurous, so to speak. So I'd like to see where we go with this. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you'll like and subscribe. And let me know down below if there's some books coming out that you would like to hear about, or if you have a favorite book that you want me to review, anything like that. Just let me know. And I will see you guys on the next page. I hope you have a great one.